Hello, welcome to another video. So, for a long time, creepypastas were a very popular internet story concept around social media for a long time. With us having populars like Slenderman, Sonic.exe, Herobrine, Backrooms, and of course, for today's topic, if you saw the title, Candle Cove. Now, Candle Cove was a creepypasta made by Chris Drove in 2009. Now, the story goes as people on the forum post remember a kids show called Candle Cove. And they remember how low budget and eerie the show was, and remembered how screwed up some of the decisions were. Like a guy who rips children's skin off to make clothing, an infamous Screaming episode where everyone just screams like a maniac for 7 minutes or something. And then they find out that the show was dead air and they were hallucinating. Which, when I first found that out, I was like, what drugs did you put your kids on, parents? And so, with that being said, the creepypasta was very popular for a while, making popular short films, and even getting a spin-off season from the sci-fi show Channel Zero, which was a whole anthology series based around creepypastas. Now, however, with that being said, eventually the series kind of died off. The series started vanishing along with some of the other formerly popular creepypastas, like Herobrine. But, with that being said, you probably saw the title, and now let me get to the question. What happened to Candle Cove? It was a very popular creepypasta back at the time, with short films, a spin-off series, and even some people wanting to recreate the show and considering that they found lost footage of the show. And even some people believing they actually watched the show, and then turned out it was a false memory creation. So, why did the show, or why did the creepypasta fade away? With a lot of populars like Superman, The Backrooms, Herobrine for some time, and Sonic.exe lasting for quite a while. But the problem is, Candle Cove was a bit dull. Now, before I get some people who really enjoyed the creepypasta at my door, I don't hate the creepypasta itself. Believe me, I really find it interesting. But I'm meaning it's dull in interpretation. So the show has an open and shut case with it being, the children were hallucinating that the show was real and it was just dead air. Like, the problem with that is that when you shut a story like that, it makes it less for interpretation or for mystery. Because, like Slenderman in the Back Rooms, the whole thing is left for interpretation. Like, the successfulness with it is that the creators of these creepypastas were able to do it without giving away too much, without saying too much to make it less about interpretation and more of what it says. Like, the Back Rooms just says that it's void of halls and mazes, with some unknown creature sometimes stalking you. In Slenderman, all we know is that it's a tall, faceless creature with tentacles from time to time that stalks children in the woods. So, all of that is just basic detail. So, it's more up for interpretation. And why some shows or the web series like Marble Hornets and Kale Pixel, I think, were able to make popular series based around these creepypastas. Because it was up for interpretation, and couldn't be said it's incorrect, because there's too many plot holes. There's a lot of mystery, so you can do whatever you want without it being given away too much and not being canonically accurate. You can make a really bad Slenderman web series or story concept, and it is not considered incorrect because the creators did not say. However, back to Candle Cove. Candle Cove, like I said, does not leave much for interpretation. Because, due to the fact that, like I said, it's a open and shut case. There's no mystery around it. It's just immediately an open and shut case. And I'm not saying that Chris Job intended to be mysterious. He could have interpreted it just to be a little short story and didn't expect people to make a bunch of stuff around it. But needless to say, this doesn't mean it was completely the end for the Candle Cove universe. Because then Chris Job went on to make Local 58, which in the Candle Cove lore, Channel 58 is what Candle Cove aired on. So still, there is still a small bit of interpretation allowed. And that's why Local 58 started working more. Because he never explicitly goes out straight saying, oh, this happened, and then, but this didn't happen. This is fake. So people are still able to make analog horror or make stuff based around Local 58 because it's not an open and shut case like Candle Cove. But hey, as I've been getting to this whole time, that's just my interpretation. You could have a lot of interpretation of why this started fading away, but as I was trying to get to, this is what happened to Candle Cove.